Yeah, a quick one back. It's not a situation room, anyways, but it's still the World Cup preview, like we've been doing for the past 3 or 4 days, giving you hot gist about these groups within the competition. We're going to Group C right now, and thankfully enough, we have Kachi joining us today. Welcome to this midday show, Kachi. And we'll just be skipping through Group C right now and see what is expected, what the team looks like. I won't say a balanced team, but on a scale of 1 to 10, a tantalizing team. I mean, Argentina, the supposed whooping boys of this group will be Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and of course, Poland. And everybody looks to be on the same page on the scale, on the large scale. Yeah, we have Poland, who happen to be 28 in the world right now. Mexico, who happens to be on 38 right now, and being coached by former Argentina coach Tata Martino. Um, Argentina, they are third in the world right now, as expected. If they are not within the first five, then we know there's a problem in Argentina. Their team is not the best team in the whole wide world right now, or the best Argentine team that we've seen in the past. But of course, when you have Lionel Messi in your team, anything can happen. This is football, anything can happen. But with Messi, anything can happen. On the CONMEBOL group, they came second, winning 11 out of their matches, drawing six, and losing none of their matches. Uh, Saudi Arabia on 52nd and 52nd place in the World Cup. Argentina, this is going to be their 18th appearance at the World Cup. Saudi is going to be their seventh appearance at the World Cup. Mexico is going to be their 13th. Sorry, it's going to be. I don't know what their appearance at this time, but I know their best finish was in 1970 and in 1986 when they got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. A major one for them. They have some good players like Lozano that plays for Napoli, totalizing Raul Jimenez that is coaches telling me not to go to the World Cup because he has consistently had growing injuries since August. We have Jojo Sanders and we have Diego Inzanes for Mexico. And for the Portuguese team, we have people like Lewandowski, Matis Cash, Paulo Zelensky, of course, Patek, the guy that scored that wonder goal in the Euros. And this is probably their best finish at the World Cup was coming third in 1974 and 1982. So there are no pushovers when it comes to the World Cup. They played 34 games at the World Cup, winning 16 of them, drawing five and losing 13 out of that. While Argentina has played 81 games at the World Cup, winning 43, drawing 15, and losing 23. So it looks like a balance group on the scale of 1 to 10. Everybody will expect Argentina to win this group, but the problem is going to be the fight really is going to be between Mexico and Poland. Olale is switching more towards Poland, towards Mexico. I'm switching more towards Poland because when you have Lewandowski, you never can tell. But I'll start with you, Kachi. This Argentine team is not the best Argentine team that I've seen, and I could give you a rundown of their players that are going to the World Cup if you want me to. Emiliano Martinez is there, Molina, Gonzalo Montel, Pazella, Nicolas Otamendi, Christian Romero of Spurs, Lisandro Martinez, Talafigo. I think it was with Ajax. I don't know where exactly he is right now. Marcos Acuna, Johan Furt of Villarreal. In the middle of the park, they have Rodrigo De Paul of Atletico Madrid, Palacios Esquel, Alexis
Rodrigo de
McAllister
Paul.
yeah, of Brighton and of Enzo Fernandez, Alejandro Gomez, and Leandro Paredes that moved from PSG to Juventus. And forward they have Messi as expected, Nicolas Gonzalez, Pedro Martinez, Paulo, the injured Paulo Dybala, Julian Alvarez of Man City, Juan Correa of Atletico Madrid, and Angel Di Maria of Juventus. I'm looking at this team. There's nothing so striking about it, especially if you look at the back line. With the exception, no disrespect to anybody here, but the exception of Lisandro Martinez, I don't see any Ferson guy or a flying wing back in the mode of people that we've seen of yesteryears, maybe Daniel Alves, Cafu, even the TTA of England, and I'm not seeing any flying wing back. And in the middle of the park, no respect to guys that we see here. If a Brighton and Hove player is in your team, your national team, that just goes to say a lot about the quality of that particular team. Kachi, what do you think is the biggest strength for this Argentine team and their weakest point, honestly?
Their biggest strength is Lionel Messi, and the fact that the team plays for Lionel Messi. They recognize who they have in him. They recognize the fact that single-handedly he can change the course of a game, and every other player, especially the forward players, sacrifice their personal statistics just to make Messi um, the focal point of the team, not necessarily the attack, but of the team, because typically he has the freedom to roam from that central midfield up to the front, to the attacking third,
Yeah.
uh, and cause any damage. He can come in deep and spread the passes to the likes of my very good guy who has broken a lot of Nigerian hearts before in the past, uh, and that is Angel Di Maria. That for me is the single biggest factor. A motivated Messi who has come out to openly say this is his last World Cup, as if we expect him to play next 4 years. I don't know. But because he has broken the jinx of winning a trophy for his national team, people believe that the motivation and the pressure is off the back of his neck and he can play more freely. That and the fact that they are playing more cohesively. I think they either just equaled or surpassed Italy's record of consecutive national international games without losing. I think they matched Italy's record of 38 games or so. I'm not too sure. Uh,
Yeah.
or they even defeated Italy to surpass that record. So they know how to win. They also know how to win in an hostile environment, winning the Copa
Copa
America
America.
in Brazil. So that for me is their biggest strength. Their weakness, however, would be their slow start to World Cup tournaments. It's not just the only reason why they seem to start well is if Nigeria is in their group and they play Nigeria first. But typically, when they play other teams first, from Italian 90 to USA 94 to France 98, they typically tend to start slow. That for me would be the biggest challenge, because if they cannot gather their momentum on time, then there will be cause for concern.
But it's better for them this time around because they are playing Saudi Arabia first. Lali, do you agree with Kachi that these are the biggest strengths and weaknesses for the Argentine team?
Well, I think what to expect from the Argentine team is something I think it's not easy to predict. I agree with Kachi with about their strengths. I think their strength lies for me more on what the attacking guys could bring on their day. The likes of Leo Messi, Julian Alvarez, what do you call him? Angel Di Maria, and I think their strength lies in the forward line. Lautaro Martinez, Angel Di Maria, Julian Alvarez,
Yeah,
Paulo
Alvarez,
Diabala,
Paulo
Joao
Dybala.
Gregoria. I think what how these guys can easily gel, how if the coach is able to get the best combination, the best three combination. Expect Messi to bring in a little bit of that creativity for them,
Creativity.
playing as that first nine position. Because from what you see in the midfield, is more of typical CMs. I don't see much. I don't see, let me say, an exceptional passer. I don't see like an exceptional dribbler or somebody who drives the ball very well in the midfield. I
The
think
Rodrigo De Paul
there's
Olawale.
yeah, even Rodrigo the
The
Paul
ball,
is still
the ball
more.
will not give you that. It's more of
No,
So
not a
so
a
so
dribbler, but someone who can hold the ball and
yeah.
link
So
back. Just
I
like
think all I'm trying to say is this: if their defense and their midfield could give them that bit of what do you call it, toughness, if they are difficult to break down, if the
Okay.
midfield can, if the midfielders are ready to work tirelessly, and how quick they can translate the ball to attack will determine how long they ball rightly made a point, a good point that if you look at their defense, especially the fullbacks, there is you don't see any flying fullbacks in that team. So how quick they can translate the ball to Messi I don't know whether the Maria is going to start that's what I'm saying. For the coach to get the right combination, the right three combination will go a long way. It is not like Debo rightly say. It is not a team that probably will strike fear in you at a glance. But again, this is cup competition. All you need to do is you find a way around the first round and get to the second round. From there,
gather the momentum.
from that point going forward, you don't need to win 3-0, 4-0. 1-0 could be enough. It could be a penalty shootout.
Penalties. Yeah.
But for me, I think the Argentines going to this competition for me, it's they it seems to look more like an underdog among the favorite.
Among the
Underdog
favorites.
among the favorite, which should probably be which I need to wait and see them in their first two games. In their first two games before making any real conclusion. But as far as the group stage is concerned, I think they should be able to make it out.
Okay, all right, perfect. And of course, where you and I don't agree or we have difference of opinion, it would be the Mexico, Poland. Poland are not pushovers. They've been third in the world at the World Cup already, and you noted Mexico since 1990 has always got into the second round at least of one World Cup that they've been to. What should we expect and who would be should I say the biggest X factor for the Mexican national team? Olali.
Wow, first factor for the Mexican national team has always been the team as a whole. Uh, you can go into a competition without probably knowing anyone that is going to play for Mexico, probably apart from Rafael Marquez in those days. But to your surprise, they play as a team. They're very comfortable on the ball, even though they are categorized as North America. They play like a typical South American team. They move the ball around quickly. So I don't, from what I've seen too in this squad, I probably except for their goalkeeper Giuliano Ochoa. What's the name of this wolf striker that we are debating that has been out for a while? Raul Jimenez. Raul
Jimenez.
Jimenez, and like and the guy that played for Napoli was
Napoli.
Ivan
Having
Lozano. Lozano.
Lozana.
So those are the let me say that the few household names, the ones you know. But again, like I said, they have a couple of their players playing in the MLS. They have some of their players playing what do you call it in La Liga in Portugal. But like one thing about the Mexican national team is this: going into competition, you don't need to know any of their players. They have what do you call it, a history of getting out of the first round of no matter how difficult the group is. I remember in 1998 where they found themselves in the group with Holland and Belgium, with Saudi Arabia. They found a way. Sorry, I think the fourth team in that group was not Saudi Arabia, but they found a way of making it out of the group, and that is what the Mexicans are all about. I think they have that pedigree, and for me, the reason why I'm going for Mexico ahead of Poland, I think Poland has
Poland.
always been disappointing for me in major competitions I've seen them, except probably for 2016 when they made it to the second round of the Euro 2016,
Euro.
or in 2002 with Olizadebe. There was a lot of high expectation from them with the group they found themselves, but they couldn't do anything. The last Euro Nations Cup, they were disappointing, even with Lewandowski up front.
Mhm.
I'm not expecting much from them this time around. I still think the Mexicans will be the ones to join the Argentine in the second round of the competition.
Okay, Kachi, do you agree with Olawale? I don't.
I don't also. I think Poland could be a dark horse in this tournament, simply because they, similar to Mexico, they are better as a team than they are individually. But this time around, what stands them out beyond the obvious Lewandowski is a certain Zielinski that
Yeah.
has tearing up the Italian Serie A,
Syria.
Georgian Maradona, Kvaratskhelia, and Victor Osimhen. In Zielinski, I believe Poland has what Mexico and to a larger extent Argentina lacks. They can leave Lewandowski to finish all the creative passes that Zielinski can generate, right? While with Argentina, Messi has to most times be involved in setting up and to a certain extent also be at the end of whatever creativity they're having. So in Zielinski, they have in their mode a tested battle tested midfielder, which I think gives them a creative edge. They are better as a sum than they are individually. There's a skill that they have playing in some of the biggest. I'm not saying they don't have players playing in lower league clubs, but you can't compare European experience to the MLS experience. Let's also not forget that Chicharito, who has been doing so well for LAFC, they even recently won the MLS Cup. Make the team. Raul Jimenez, who might be at the end of their goals, is not yet back to full fitness. So you begin to ask yourself, where would the goals come from? It's only Guillermo Ochoa, who it looks like disappears every 4 years and then reappears when it's time for the World Cup and becomes so difficult to score against. That's probably their biggest star. But I sincerely think Poland play better as a team, have better individual creative minds in the middle of the park that can make them get 4 points out of 2 games and make life unbearable for Argentina. So Argentina for me.
And just to buttress what you said, and this is where my opinion lies. The first game is going to be between Argentina and Saudi Arabia. The second, the first match for Poland is going to be against Mexico.
The direct
opponent. So if they can get something positive out of the game, their next game will be against Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So if Argentina is playing their last game against Poland, they might have qualified already and decide to rest a couple of their first team players. So that gives Poland a little bit of advantage going into and that's my reason. I feel it's going to be is balanced. I think it's balanced with all due respect to both teams. And in that regard, I mean the Polish team and the Mexican team. But the situation might be the striking difference between the two teams. And like I already know, I think it was Kachi that noted it that sometimes the Mexican team they don't even have a revelation. Someone like Lozano was a revelation at the last World Cup for Mexico. Nobody knew him before the World Cup.
Olali said that.
Yeah, nobody knew him before the World Cup, but the World Cup became the revelation. Unless they have someone that will be the revelation for them at this World Cup.
I think we should watch out for a certain Alex Vega.
He plays on the
left. Yeah, he plays on the left side of the attack.
Okay.
I think I just checked some of his past. What do you call it? He plays either as an attacking midfielder as a winger. For me, I just think we should mark that date, the first match against Poland. You guys will all be surprised what Mexico is going to do to Poland.
Exactly.
I'm taking my next house directly. I think it's an outright victory for Mexico.
I love
That
you
game
too,
is an
man.
outright Mexico.
I
Have a
love
watch
you too, man.
party.
Please
We might
don't.
need to have a watch party so that we get instant reactions and live stream it for that particular.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Please don't stick out your neck. I don't want anybody breaking your neck or chopping your neck off. But it's funny though because I can still see the fact that they are still taking Andres Guardado to this World Cup. It's funny. It's unexpected, but it's expected. Should I say? Maybe they needed the experience, so to speak, going to the World Cup. But I don't know if Guardado is still in your team. It says a lot about your team as well. Anyways, so for Olale, it's going to be Argentina, Mexico, Poland, and of course Saudi Arabia. Am I correct, Olale? I think Olale is frozen for a second there. Kachi, but for you, it's going to be Argentina,
Poland
Poland, Mexico.
or Saudi Arabia.
Okay, Olale, do you agree? Olale, are you back with us or do you agree with us? Because I'm with Kachi on this one. I'm not sticking out my neck. I don't want my neck broken, but
Yeah,
My neck is too
I,
fat for that. My
exactly.
neck is
For
too
me, I
fat.
think
Did we
I think
lose a lot?
Olale is breaking up for a little bit there.
I think what Olale, we lost the sound there. But for
Okay.
me, depending when we get
hello,
Olale,
hello guys. Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Go
yes.
ahead. Olale.
Like what I'm saying, what I'm telling you is, I'm very sure the Mexicans.
Okay. Go ahead, Kachi.
All right. So depending when Olale returns, I want
Uh-huh.
to make a special. I want to describe what success would look like for Saudi Arabia because obviously they are going under the radar. Considered 5
The
goals in the
looking
opening
boys.
game of the 2018 World Cup. I think they've
Yeah.
only scored 2 goals. Success would make them coming out of that group will be a success. And I also don't want us to downplay the fact that this tournament is being held very close to home for them. And I'm
Saudi Arabia.
trying to remember
It doesn't
Japan
mean
Korea 2002, where the Korean national team under Gus Hiddink, not known for anything in international football before that tournament, came out and shocked the world, playing some of the most eye-catching football we saw in that tournament. As I know that up until today, I still chant some of the Korean supporters chants that we always had during that 2002 World Cup. Saudi Arabia, coached by Hervé Renard, an African AFCON winning coach. I think, I don't want to say they do, I just think that they may spring a surprise and determine who finishes second. Not because they will win or finish second, but games we expect them to be thoroughly outplayed. Maybe that particular game may be the one where they set up on the low block, work on the counter attack, and just get the odd goal. Remember, it is the World Cup. It's just 8 games to win the tournament. 8 games. This is not 38 games. And this is something that Hervé Renard can take advantage of and spring a surprise or two. And if that surprise will happen, Olawale, I'm looking at you. That surprise will be against Mexico. Saudi Arabia to spring a dark horse and possibly get a point against Mexico in this tournament. That is my hot take in Group C right now.
I'm loving that. I'm going to do that now. And like Kachi said, I think it's going to be best if we do like a watch party for the World Cup on this station. People can join us and be on StreamYard, put in their comments or whatnot. And I think that's something that we're going to be doing. But just before we go on the show, no disrespect to Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry for anybody that's watching and is a Saudi national. I did not even say anything about Saudi because I feel they are the blueprint team of the group, and I'm sorry. I apologize about that. They have their captain Samuel Al Faraj. They have a couple of strikers as well, Sai Al Sheri, Abdullah Al Hamda, and I think just in hope of in redemption of my bad character, of my poor showing tonight. Olale, I don't know if you are with us. If you are not, Kachi, I'm going to come to you.
I'm lost.
Olale,
I'm with you.
okay.
I'm with you.
What do you remember best of Saudi Arabia at the World
It
Cup?
was Saidi Oweran's goal at
US
USA 94.
US
That was their first
94.
appearance.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was their first appearance. They found themselves in a pretty difficult group. The Holland, Belgium, yes, and Morocco. In fact, the Moroccans were even given more of a chance to get it, probably to get to the second round. They lost their first game against the Dutch by 2-1. They won against, surprisingly, against Morocco in the game 2-1. In the last game against Belgium, and that Belgium side had already recorded 2 victories. Then
Uh-huh.
the inspirational side, they scored a lovely goal, a drive from the
Lovely goal.
midfield, beating
From
like
the,
3
yeah,
or
from the
4,
back,
5
from the
players.
back.
Yeah,
As a
before
matter of
slotting
fact, from the
home
back.
against, what do you call it? Against the Belgians. That took them to the second round. Nobody expected it. In the second round against Sweden, a lot of people probably gave them a bit of chance against Sweden because the game was played around, was it 12 p.m. 12 p.m. US time, and the US was very hot that period. People
Uh-huh.
felt Saudi Arabia coming from a hot region could have a chance, but forget it. Sweden took them to the cleaners.
See,
Kenneth Anderson, Martin
Sweden was
Darling,
not so much. Yeah, Sweden was too
they
much
were
in that
just
tournament.
so. I think
I just
94 was the memorable period.
I just wanted you to put
Go
that
on.
out
Did we
there
lose did we lose
and redeem my image, kinda, because that's I think that's my best remembrance of Saudi Arabia at the World Cup as well. Anyways, till we see you again tomorrow when we'll be analyzing Group D. Thank you very much. I'm still Adeja Adebowale, and this is Lawale and Uroku Kachi. Kachi with the hot take. Mexico is not going anywhere. I'm supporting Kachi 100% on this. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Okay.